2, 1.
This video is going to let you hear the sound of the tokay lizard, also known as the fuck you lizard, which I met up with in Thailand.
Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. This is your welcome at Wolf 10.
That is
I'm
weird.
your werewolf. What is?
The beginning. You said the lizard. That sounded like a squid toy from a dog toy.
Oh, you like it? You want to hear it again?
Oh my god.
This video is going to let you hear the sound of the tokay lizard, also known as the fuck you lizard, which
Tell
I
us that does
met
not
up
sound like
with
a
in
dog toy.
Thailand.
I mean,
Tell
a
us that
dog
does
toy
not sound
is
like a
what I
dog
was- A dog toy is what I was thinking when. Also, it does sound like the lizard is swearing.
I'm not into guys with vaginas.
Oh!
If that's the sound that wizards make, that's freaking weird.
I mean,
No, it's,
I
as
can
I said,
go
it's
through
the-
my
the
back
fucking
catalog.
lizard.
I've never heard a
and
lizard
the noise it
sound
was
like that
making
before.
sounded like that.
I can go through my back catalog of animals that makes the craziest noises, and I will put them on.
Well, like a
here. You
koala
guys
sound like.
will have a treat. Sounds like a drunken donkey.
That's actually what a koala sounds like.
Sound like a
Yeah, I know.
frog.
Sounds like one of those
Oh.
frogs.
Oh, sorry.
They
me.
sound like grumpy old men.
Only
But was
he could come up with a whole.
Look, motherfuckers, y'all ready for me to introduce you or not?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Today we're gonna conclude our
Just go ahead. The floor
early
is yours.
Marvel. Are y'all ready?
Mm.
We're concluding our stream with the Glad Kayon, Matthew Flynn, of our early Marvel movie stream. But this time we're talking about our Marvel stories. But without further ado, let me introduce the Glad Kayon, Matthew Flynn.
Welcome, Autobots and Decepticons. My name is Matthew Flynn, the Gladiator of Kaon, and today we're going to do the second half of our Marvel movies, or early 2000 movies, which I suppose we're just going to call Marvel Knights. Although, considering I'm doing Fantastic Four, which kind of is related to this, because there was a Marvel Knights title for Fantastic Four. But,
It counts.
yeah.
Join
And
us
mine
at-
is the smallest in terms of what I've actually changed.
Join us tonight is our Sixth Ranger, the humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hello.
I don't even know what story she's going to be doing tonight, but she's going to wing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just like how you flew right into that. Just flowed right into that. Next to her is our designated Smurfette principal, the lovely lady of Leia plus size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and welcome to our stream about Marvel stories. And I will be handling Daredevil, and I hope you enjoy what our creators are going to come up with. So I hope you enjoy this that we have. Who knows? You might be inspired by them. Oh, did we get a lot of people?
Wolf? Your mic's
Oh,
muted.
okay. He said, yeah, he said, give him a second. He said, all he said was noise. So something must be going on in the background.
Uh-oh.
And then he'll be back to introduce. Do you want us to just go ahead and did we introduce Dom and Final?
He didn't introduce us yet.
Yeah, I was in, does he want us to wait for him or go ahead and say, okay, we'll just introduce stuff. Oh, you're next to me, so
The Hound of the South,
oh,
Dominic
There he is.
Powell.
okay. Well, let's have your introduction, please.
Dom, your mic's muted.
Wake up,
Dom,
Dom.
not you too.
Oh,
Oh, don't tell me you fell asleep again.
Don't make me whack you with your with a fuck you stick.
no,
Well,
please.
first off, I'm still awake, so you can put down that stick. Because if you try to hit me with that, I will spray you with a water bottle.
Yeah, it goes like this. Fuck you!
Oh, great, and it even has the lizard on it.
No, it's not
Well-
the fuck you lizard. It's the fuck you guy.
Okay,
Well, if we're gonna do that, I'm gonna get the hose. Hose says that's more powerful than the spray bottle.
Go ahead, Dom. Introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell, and the resident straight man of this chaotic bunch. So, and as Leia said, welcome to tonight's live stream. As each of us will be doing a rewrite on each of the Marvel Knight movies.
Beneath him is the Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
greetings to viewers and fellow Final Fantasy fans. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12, and welcome back to another live stream of the UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. And today we are doing a part 2 stream, a second part of the stream from our retrospective of the early 2000s Marvel movies. And this stream will be our ideas for the early 2000s Marvel movies. And each of us have our own takes of which ones that we got. Wolf's got Blade and the Punisher, because originally Schooner was about to do the Punisher, but due to his busy schedule, now he's taken over. Matt has the Fantastic Four. Dom has got which one do you got, Dom?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. And Leia's got Daredevil. And I already got all of them at once for something big planned. So be sure you stay tuned to what it will be.
Do check out our early Marvel movie stream later on today or whenever. We did talk about the good old days when the Marvel Universe was not made yet. So please check those out. So, without further ado, we'll be capping off the Marvel Knights stories with my rewrite of Blade Trinity. Now, we all remember that Blade Trinity was the nail in the coffin of the Blade franchise. Let's just say I'll have to start with recontextualizing everything. So, how it begins with this particular story is that Blade and Whistler are on the run as usual from humans, and yes, yes, the final boss will be Dracula. Only difference is that I will be giving Dracula something to do in this goddamn movie. Excuse me, Monticelli. Are you impressed? Are you excited yet? Let me keep
Yeah.
going.
Well, come on, tell us more.
So
Mhm.
he'll be leading the
They
vampire
could have
horde.
put a draft date through it.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just said I wish Dracula was written better in that third Blade movie.
Rest assured, I do have him as written better in my rewrite. Blade, of course, Blade, of course, gets a new benefactor in his serum through the leader of the Night Stalkers, Karen from the first movie. No resounding hand clasp, nothing. Y'all don't remember Karen?
We're talking about Karen, the character, not Karen, the meme, right?
Not
Yes.
the meme. Karen, the character.
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Karen.
Oh, that Karen.
That Karen, yes. She makes a return in this movie as a lead, as a leader of a faction of vampire hunters known as the Night Stalkers, where Blade meets Whistler's adopted daughter, not blood daughter, adopted daughter, Abigail Whistler.
Ooh.
Because that was a dumbass retcon in the previous movie, in the original movie.
It really was.
Like they straight up said that the vampire that came to his house killed his family, his daughter, and his wife, and yet she lived, and yet that I'm not even gonna get into that. It was dumb. It was just dumb.
Funny question. Is Dracula in this movie played by Nick Cage? And if so, is his sidekick played by Nicholas Hoult?
No. It's before Nicolas Cage even became Ghost Rider. So, no.
Nick Cage does not have the physique to play Dracula.
Well, the thing is, it will still be played by Dominic Purcell, aka Heat Blast.
I mean, I know. I was just joking because I just
know.
wanted to make a Renfield joke.
Can I keep going?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I like Dominic Purcell as Dracula, so I'm going to keep him. He was threatening when he was allowed to be, but with this new rewrite, he's going to be a menace. Let's say that.
I mean, of course it would be, yeah.
What sets him apart, of course, is that the
You
fact that he's the first
I
vampire.
could see like a Gerard Butler.
No, we already had Gerard Butler as Dracula.
He's talking about
Yeah,
Blade
but he was
Trinity
good.
Dracula.
The one in this one just didn't work for me. Rest, you're right.
Because he wasn't allowed to be Dracula. He only fed on one teenage
Yeah,
girl.
that's what I meant.
They introduced the motherfucker by ripping off a vampire head off and sitting on top of a pile of dead bodies that he was feasting on. And you expect me to be scared of this motherfucker walking around killing some fake goth?
Wait, so they just made him just some deep-powered Strigoi?
I mean, he was powerful. He could shape shit looking like a devil and everything. But my thing was, the best thing you can introduce of how a threat he is feasting on a fake Morgoth. That's it. Not a.
That was a really bad characterization of Dracula in Blade Trinity, because in the comics, Dracula,
And also the Dracula sex toys, that was a thing as well.
I better not comment. I'd probably pick this thing off course. So, what more would you do for your Blade Trinity thing, Wolf?
Well, I won't rehash the whole blood crops like in the first movie. That was quite a deleted scene, actually. You guys wouldn't know about that unless you had the special edition Blade movie.
I know what you're talking about.
Does everybody else know that though? That's the question.
I do not. I've only ever seen the theatrical version of
I don't
Blade
have
Trinity.
the special edition.
There was a deleted scene where
Yeah, I've never seen
in that
this
same
special
in the same
edition
scene
one.
where Karen tries to talk up Deacon Frost after he does that whole spiel about the blood god. She asks him, if everybody's gonna be a vampire, how would you feed? And he takes her to his back room where there's like wrapped up human beings with blood tubes feeding to their bodies, and those were called the blood crops. And in the original movie, Danica, well, actually, the blood crops makes a return in the third movie, basically saying that the Vampire Nation, despite them being so fractured and weak by this point since the second movie, they're still going with the blood crop plan. Why? I don't know. I do not know why they're still going with the blood crop plan. When the beginning of the movie they had Blade exposed, which I'm still going to keep that. I'm going to keep that Blade's exposed, killing off a familiar. And that's where like I said, it goes through the same motion as the first movie, as the first part of the movie. That's where Whistler talks to him about his friends at high places. Of course, it'll probably be a sort of plot hole as to how Whistler knows about Karen's blood pack, since he's been in cryostasis since the second movie, right? you can infer that time has passed, and he's made
Mm.
contact with Karen, but he hadn't had time to tell Blade at the time because they were still on the run from the humans. So throughout the whole movie, it's them trying to take on Dracula, but actually it's Dracula coming to them to fight them, and he fucks their shit up.
Oh.
Abigail's part in this story is that she's trying to prove herself to be a member of the Blood Pack, but she's not as the best fighter of their group. Though Karen is mentoring her, so she reassures her every once in a while, give her the mentor speech, yada yada yada, and build her up. But what's her, causes the conflict about that. But he dies again at the hands of Dracula, and that's where Blade goes on to a blood rage, and this is where Dracula tries to recruit Blade, as every vampire has done. So third time's a charm, because he sees a kinship in Blade being a daywalker, and him being the first vampire being so powerful that he can walk through the sun. He'll try to tempt Blade into joining him, and Dracula will have, how would you say this, the ability to charm people. So let's just say he'll probably.
Oh, you're talking about a mesmerize ability.
In a way, you could say that. Let's just say he'll try to take Abigail Whistler as a queen, and it becomes a rescue mission after that. But of course, we get into the climactic fight, and of course, Blade wins. Sorry, my wife is coughing right now. So Blade wins in the end, but we get a special sneak preview. Oh, what you doing in the damn chat? Fine, be there.
Hey, we showed up.
So
And humble.
we ended.
I mean, she's already here on this panel.
I know. Let me finish the rewrite. We ended with Blade winning. I'm not gonna say how he wins, but he does. And we get a sneak end credit scene where he meets. He's working on some weapons with Karen, and he hears a distant motorcycle rolling up to his hideout. He's approached by a biker, and he it's Wesley Snipes, so he's giving them the tough guy spiel. What are you doing walking up into the wolf's den, and the biker is speaking on there's a great evil rising, and I heard you fight supernatural beings. Yes, only vampires right now. Yeah, but these ain't vampires you're dealing with. It's like, okay, so what we're going up against? Demons. You're kidding, right? No, I'm not kidding. Well, show me proof then. Dude takes his chain and ignites it with fire. Close credits.
So, that's our introduction to Ghost Rider.
Yep.
That is pretty good.
Of course, how we would have done the fire effects in that with that type of technology, I wouldn't know. But I'm envisioning, like I said, he takes the chain out. In fact, we don't even get to see his face, but he takes the chain out, hangs the chain down, and you see fire just trail right down towards the end.
I mean, you could just have like a fire glowing just from a skull.
That gives us a little taste. We, as the audience, know who he is.
Well, you already knew the moment you heard a motorcycle. You already knew the moment it introduced a biker in black leather, but you're not going to see his face. You just hear his voice. Now, I say that casting for Dom's entry to Ghost Rider. Now, who wants to take point? Because I know Paul's going to last.
Who is doing Ghost Rider? Is that you too, Final?
Dom is doing Ghost Rider.
God dang it. Thomas goes first. You are Daredevil. You know what? You go first. You go next.
Well, Dom may want to.
Nope. I'm the leader. I say you go next. Daredevil. Go. Remember, we're playing this stuff out. We don't have the technology to do Ghost Rider yet, so we gotta do Daredevil next. Actually, no.
What?
No. Let me take Schooner's entry real quick, since he's not here, and I told him I was gonna read his in spirit. Y'all ready?
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, go right ahead.
So this is what Schooner wrote. Firstly, Thomas Jane Thomas Jane's fan production will return as Frank Castle. I feel his portrayal of the character was a perfect mix of controlled rage and anger and deep-rooted pain, depression, and agony. This is also going to be a hard R rating. In this story, Punisher Dirty Laundry will serve as a prologue to this film. Of course, he linked me the video to Dirty Laundry, which I still have yet to watch. As Frank drives off at the end of the prologue, we get a hard cut to the opening credits, which is a montage of newspaper headlines citing the latest incidents involving the Punisher. Not only has he been executing monsters, but he's also killing drug runners, human trafficking, and heaven exposing various corporations. I don't even know what the hell is he writing here. Corporation politicians involved in these various crimes. Frustrated by his constant interference, a group of high-profile criminals meet to discuss a solution. These criminals include mafia boss. He wrote this in one night. Give him counsel.
Well,
guys.
look who's in the private chat.
What?
Schooner.
So
Oh, you motherfucker! I knew you were showing up.
You're
The Schooner Tuna.
Coming at you live and very, very, very exhausted from
Oh my god.
from a secret government location, very deep underground, but has excellent Wi-Fi. Schooner Tuna has arrived. Now, don't you shed a tear. You don't have to fear. Schooner Tuna's here.
Well,
Dear God.
I got something to perk him up.
oh no.
Chicken wing, hot dog, and bologna.
Well, you know,
Well,
I was just
I have
just
this
about to read your
already.
entry.
Yes. Yes, and after hearing your on your way home, I was driving on my way home. I had to come for this one because I made my promise.
All right.
I had to come to this one. So I'm driving home and I heard your Blade version and I think your Blade version's amazing, which means now I'm going to recontextualize the Punisher movie. Yeah. So yeah, the Punisher Dirty Laundry is going to serve as a prologue to this movie, and Thomas Jane has to come back as Punisher. He just has to be. He had the perfect mix of controlled rage and anger, but also at the same time, he was able to show a measure, you know what I mean? Controlled rage, anger, but also a measure of deeply rooted trauma and even pain. A lot of people say PTSD, but in this version, he's not going to be like, I mean, the Marvel show of Punisher was good for what it was, but in this version, it's not, I'm really badly damaged and I want revenge. No, in this version, Frank Castle believes 110% that in certain extreme situations, the law is inadequate, and therefore he has to he sees it as the reason why I exist is because the law is inadequate. So I am here to fix the situation, and until everybody gets their shit together, then I'll go away. Or maybe that's just the end of it for me. So that's really his whole mindset in this story. It's like, it's not revenge, it is a mission. So yeah, he's Thomas Jane in this version too, because I like the idea of him possibly aging in. Oh no, we're going back. This is the past. So anyway, he's been in this version. Frank Castle, the Punisher, has been active for a number of years now. He's like Wolf was saying, he's not just killing the mob. He's also exposing corrupt corporations, and he's even bringing down arms dealers. that are trying to muscle in on the territory. But this one, especially for the Marvel Knights universe, I wanted to have him. He's now going to be straddling a line because, like Iron, this is like an inversion of Iron Man when Nick Fury came and said, "You just entered a whole new world." So he's busting, criminals and all this kind of stuff. But now he's straddling the line, and he's going to be crossing over to this new era for the Marvel Knights. So, in this version, yes, the bad guy is going to be Barracuda, who is hired by these Barracuda's here, but he's hired by these very high-profile criminals. But it turns out that it's kind of like kind of similar to that Dark Council that we saw in the first Blade movie. But these criminals are kind of. I'm sorry, what?
The Vampire Nation.
Yeah, kind of the Vampire Nation, but these criminals, they're kind of more or less, they control all of the crime that's going on a global scale. Well, not on a global scale, but in the United States. So the Punisher has really been kind of making problems for all of them because not only is he busting their operations, but he's also turning over evidence to prosecutors and all this kind of stuff, which would also, yes, it's also going to be revealed in this one because this is something the movie kind of touched on this. I think it was Punisher Warzone that kind of touched on this, but whenever Frank Castle has actually been apprehended by the authorities before, but a lot of cops or prosecutors have actually looked the other way or let him go because they believe in what he's doing. So anyway, these high-profile criminals want him put down, but they don't know what to do. But among these high-profile bad guys, there's a little shadowy organization represented by he's just credited as the Pale Man. And the Pale Man is saying that he's disappointed in all of these people and that, the Punisher's actions have really been hurting his productivity and his people don't take kindly to this. And he basically tells all the board members that, if you guys can't get a handle on this situation, I'm going to have to step in. And if I have to step in, this means I don't need any of you. So the board members are obviously very freaked out by this guy. They don't know what he is or what his deal is. They say it.
Barracuda.
Yep, exactly. That is exactly what I'm doing. So these guys basically say, well, we got a specialist coming in. He's called the Barracuda. And yes, we are going to use that song. The Ooh, Barracuda. And he's going to enter the scene. And the Barracuda is 100%. He's like the Punisher completely unhinged because he's a psycho. He's a raging psycho, and he's got all of the capabilities of the Punisher, but none of that code of conduct and honor that he has.
So he's a mirror.
Yeah, so he's a mirror. That's basically what he is. Exactly. The Shadow character, for this version, he decides, okay, well, what's the best way to flush out the Punisher? If he's targeting all of the high profile, if he's targeting criminals and organizations, well, then why don't I just go and, so he starts actually killing honest cops, DAs who are not taking any bribe money. And he's slaughtering the innocent. And he starts slaughtering the innocent, and he's calling out Frank Castle. So what happens is it's a game of cat and mouse between the two of them. Frank and him are going to be trying to hunt one another in a hunted and hunted type mindset. Long story short, it ends with the two of them fighting, and he's able to defeat them. And he discovers the board because it turns out Barracuda has no allegiance to these board members. They were just paying him money, and he sells them out and hoping that Frank will let him go. But of course, Frank doesn't. He feeds him to the sharks, just like he did in the comic books. He drops him into a shark tank, feeds him to the sharks. They eat him. Yep. And the movie ends with them saying, great, what are we going to do? They say, the board members are like, what are we going to do? We got to get another assassin in here on the double. Then, of course, Frank comes in with 2 machine guns and starts blowing them all away. blowing them all away, and he just basically says your operations are done and over with. The only person who isn't dead in that movie is the Paleface Man, who wasn't there because he knew that Frank Castle was coming. And he walks in and he sees all of the board members dead. The Pale Man is just basically saying, I'm so disappointed in all of you. Well, I guess I'll just have to take matters into my own hands. And of course, he calls his boss. And that, of course, will set up whatever comes next in the future. And that was my version of the Punisher.
Sweet.
We're also definitely going to be focusing a little more on Punisher's network of allies that he has. You know, Microchip, we got in Punisher Warzone, but I also want to show the Mechanic, a guy who basically supplies Frank Castle with all of his gear and his, you know, really cool. Yes, he's still going to have that badass Mustang. And yeah, he supplies Frank with all of his cool little gadgets, but we're also going to hint at the fact that maybe he was also at one point or another supplying Whistler with whatever he needed. And yeah, say what?
Quick question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
The Paleface Man, when he calls up his boss, tell me his boss is the Kingpin.
I'm going to leave that a complete mystery.
Dang it.
It's going to be left.
Punisher, though.
So who's ready for the Man Without Fear?
Yeah, come on, Leia. You're the one who's doing Daredevil.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
We can hear you.
Perfectly.
How can you see into my eyes?
Okay.
I thought you said don't remind yourself
Oh
about
my
Vanessa
God.
the last time in the last stream.
I'm gonna let.
I couldn't.
Oh, the movie came out on
I was gonna
Valentine's
say,
Day? Holy shit. Because the release date of the film, it's February 14th. That's Valentine's
Daredevil on
Day.
Valentine's Day.
Holy shit. The most romantic
Because nothing
movie
says
you'll
love
ever see.
like Daredevil. Yes,
I mean,
well,
well,
nothing
Daredevil
says
Yellow is
love
about
like
love
Daredevil.
because the Marvel Color Series is
Perfect.
about
What
a
a
love that you
Hallmark
can't
card.
attain. But yeah. But even though the movie's not based on that story.
Take it away, Leia. If you, whatever you got, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to try to follow up because you two gave some great presentations. Wolf, you have a good one, and Scooney, hey, you're just the king at it. I did hear a couple of things about. I like the idea of Frank supplying weapons to Whistler, and you mentioned someone being the Pale Man. Now,
Yeah,
I was thinking in my mind the Pale Man could possibly be Dracula, but that was just my thinking.
I
Yeah.
was thinking Tombstone.
So to piggyback off of the yes, oh yeah, there's something on that
Wait,
line because
wasn't
I
Tombstone
was
Spider-Man
thinking
villain,
Dracula
though?
because I'm thinking that somehow everybody's connected.
Would you ask final?
Wasn't Tombstone
Yeah,
a
but
Spider-Man villain, though?
he can.
He is a Spider-Man villain, but he also doubles as a rival to Kingpin.
Mm.
But also, what I like about about Tombstone, especially in Spectacular Spider-Man, he's got like this Lex Luthor persona going, which I thought was great.
Oh. Right. Anyway, my apologies. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Because like I said, I didn't have much time to really think about this too much. The only thing I would say is I kind of like the idea of the situation with Blade, and maybe perhaps that some of these vampires have eased themselves into Daredevil's world, because Daredevil is a representation or inspired by, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Catholic Church or Catholicism.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So I'm
because
I'm
Matt
looking
Murdock is a
at if
Catholic,
these
yeah.
creatures were to come in.
Yeah, because I just said, yeah,
So
Matt Murdock, because Matt
we
is a
all know
Catholic,
that
yeah.
the cross is supposedly yes. Okay. So I like the idea of the fact that maybe these creatures are stepping into his territory. Maybe, he still has his dealings with Kingpin, but now he's getting reports of some strange behavior that he's not so sure about. And I'm thinking, and maybe scientifically this isn't wrong, but since he is blind to the human eye, maybe it's possible that through his blindness he can perhaps see these creatures in a way, or see the vampires in a way. Because maybe
I like
he's
that
getting
idea. Like,
reports
there's a
of
way.
people, being bitten or drained.
I mean, depending on the sound. Well,
Go ahead,
even
I like
Hollywood
that.
wants a
It's like he
soundtrack.
can. I like that idea too. It's like he can perceive them because of his other senses, and much like in Daredevil, the TV show, in almost every version, he's trained his other senses, so it's almost like a second nature instinct and almost animalistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if a human cannot see them, he, however, can feel like a chill, and split second he could move when a vampire is about to slash at him.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. That's what I was thinking of myself, because we know the agility of vampires, but maybe he would be difficult for them to defeat because his extra senses can pick up them trying to attack him, or trying to try to attack, try to bite him. And also the fact that, he can hear people's heartbeats. We all know vampires do not have a heartbeat. So even though he can sense them in one area, he knows for a fact, well, I came across these creatures, and the strangest thing, I couldn't hear a heartbeat. I can hear a heartbeat. He can sense they're there, but he can't hear,
You can smell
the
them,
heartbeat.
too,
The sound to pick
his
up,
smell is
because
also enhanced.
they don't have one. Yes. Yes, exactly. He can enhance them and he can smell them. So maybe in his part of town, or the dealing with Kingpin, he starts to deal with something he can't quite understand or explain at first. Then perhaps through knowledge, or maybe through his own senses, he begins to realize these creatures are supernatural, and they are supernatural evil.
Who's the
And
villain
being
again?
that he is Catholic, he takes upon himself that these. I am going to just start with perhaps that maybe some of the vampires from Blade World has made their way to his city, or maybe somehow Dracula has sent some of his vampires. I'm not totally clear on this, Wolf. I didn't think this all through, but I'm thinking perhaps that some of
This
the
is an
clans
opportunity.
that Blade did not destroy, or knows they're still out
Well,
there,
we are
have made
definitely
their
a
way.
fantasy studio, so
Has
we're
made
pitching
their way to
ideas
his
of
city.
how to connect this.
This could actually provide an opportunity. This could actually,
Yeah,
with the vampire. With the vampire leadership dead, there's nobody governing the vampires, which means the vampires are kind of more or less moving around but basically unrestricted. Because the leadership in the Blade movies was supposed to show why it was important to have a ruling government of the vampires.
Correct, they're Scooney. And maybe when they get to the city, they've just gone amok. So there's bloody bodies everywhere. And, and Matt is getting a wind of this. Now, maybe to his mind, he's thinking, well, maybe it's some serial killer or some crazy nut, and we got to find out who this is. So he's out patrolling, because he's a creature of the night himself. He comes out into the night just like the creatures do. And he's out patrolling, and maybe he hears a scream and sense something, but he's there to fight, but he's sensing something he's never sensed before, which could be the smell of them, and with his senses seeing them and seeing that these are not human, and I can't hear a heartbeat, but I can smell them and I can see them, but they're kind of a palish, ghostly figure.
Could also work too, given the fact
I'm not sure what it could be, and then through his knowledge and his research. Go ahead.
It could also work too that
Go ahead.
when well, it could also work too that with him being unable to fight the vampires, what if he barely survives he barely survives his first encounter with a vampire, and the only thing that saves his life is actually the fact that he wears a cross around his neck.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's make the first encounter, that he gets pretty injured. And I like that, because that's also a symbolism, Scooney. That cross is a symbolism, because we all know that it can repel them, and it also saves them, and it repels them as well. And also he is a symbol of good. he is a night creature as they are, but he's a night creature that's a symbol of good. So
Mhm.
maybe while after his first encounter and he's wounded, he figures out what they are and goes about ways and trying to defeat them the best way he can, from reading. Maybe he finds out the knowledge and through his own faith and knowing that maybe reading about vampire hunters or slayers of the past and what they used to try to destroy him. Maybe he has some weapons forged that are like stake like, and that he goes off to try to remove these creatures. And along the way, maybe that's when you can bring him. That's when him and Blade could possibly team up, because maybe Blade can tell him that you're not going to be able to do this by yourself. You're going to need help. But when they first meet, Daredevil Matt is not trusting of him because we know Blade is part vampire. So
this could
Daredevil
also
may not be so inclined to want to work with him at first.
This could be a one-time encounter where at the end he meets Blade, because during this time, like when he's injured, he could maybe go to the hospital and run into Karen. And of course, Karen asks if he's okay, and he's just masking himself as Matt Murdock. He's like, oh, yeah, I got mugged and all this kind of stuff. And this is where in the hospital he could hear various people who have either survived the encounter or bore witness have been saying that it's a monster, it's a creature, or, all that kind of stuff. And the final battle, what if the final battle
like
actually
that, but
took, what if the,
this
oh, go ahead.
Let's get ready to move on.
No, continue. I'll ask you later. Go ahead and continue.
It was just the final, what if the final battle took place in
but that is my pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready for?
But that would be my tip. I'm trying to cross everybody together, but
yeah,
that would be.
Y'all ready for Ghost Rider now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
Go right ahead. We're on a roll. You guys, you guys are doing great so far.
Has to do what Dom do with Ghost
with
Rider.
Johnny.
We just lost Schooner. He'll be back hopefully. Now go on, Dom, if you're able.
Yeah, I can able as long as StreamYard doesn't kick me out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in this rewrite of 2007's Ghost Rider, this will be a complete rewrite of the movie. So in other words, Blackheart will not be the main villain of this movie. However, I will be keeping Mark Bentley, but he will be playing at excuse me, he'll be playing as another member of Johnny's Rogues Gallery, because Blackheart he's a Danny Ketch villain after he became the Ghost Rider. So what will make this different from the 2007 movie is Mephisto. He will be an active big bad instead of watching in the background.
An overarching villain.
Ooh.
Yes. So also,
I like. That's a great artistic feeling.
Also, another difference between the 2007 movie and this rewrite is this will be a full-on adaptation of Johnny's first appearance as Ghost Rider, specifically Marvel Spotlight number 5, all the way to 11. And the overarching theme like throughout this first movie is fatherhood and the sins of the father. So you have the first half of the movie like being played as it is as what occurred in Marvel Spotlight number 5.
So hang on, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. So it's playing out like the comic book?
Yeah, because he's playing it
yes.
out to be like Johnny Blaze's origins instead of being Danny Ketch's origins, like how it was in the final version of the film.
Yeah. I like this. I'm already liking this.
Yeah. Sorry, Dom.
That's all right. So the movie plays as it is, like in the beginning with Johnny like making the desperate deal to save his foster dad Crash from cancer. So the deal with Mephisto goes through. Crash is cured. However, However, of course, like Crash does end up dying life from a stunt that he was about to do. And just as Mephisto was about to claim Johnny's soul, he was repelled by Roxanne due to her undying love for Johnny. And also I will say this. So as Wolf mentioned, Ghost Rider like making an appearance like in that Stinger ending, and Nicolas Cage, he will continue. I'm gonna keep him as Johnny Blaze.
Just don't make him go crazy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, don't make him
Works
go
for me.
crazy.
Look,
No.
you
You gotta make him. You gotta make him crazy, but just make him a more reserved crazy, because reserved Nicolas Cage in an already kooky movie works. I mean, did you not see National Treasure?
Also, to help sweeten the deal for those like who want to see Johnny Blaze on the big screen, this movie will be R-rated.
I don't understand why y'all keep mentioning that as R-rated. I just told you guys in the last stream, we are doing a universe expanding R-rated Marvel series.
I know, so we can make it as violent as we possibly can. That's why Punisher is gonna
keep bringing up the fact that it was R-rated. We've already covered that in the last stream.
But Matt's already doing Fantastic Four though.
You don't
Because
count.
Yeah, so
we're counting.
Look, for the Fantastic Four, they're involved. Yes, like they have two Marvel Knights titles. However, they are still the same Fantastic Four as we know them. They don't need to be dark and gritty.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can have other characters around them be dark and gritty and leave the Fantastic Four as they are.
Or you could just throw Fantastic Four into the zombie universe.
Let me do some quick clarification. We can do us four. We can do the Marvel Knights R-rated movies. He can do the family friendly stuff.
Yeah, we're already adding them in there anyway because of the continuation of the last video. Because this is all the early 2000s Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Look, well, the point is the Fantastic Four, as Matthew will discuss them later, they'll act as a bridge between the Marvel Knights side of the Marvel universe, whereas as the Fantastic Four, they represent the overall bright side of the Marvel universe.
Right.
Sweet. All right, let's move on to the Fantastic Four right now.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Matthew Flynn.
Yes, I'm curious to see what you.
Wait, but one last thing I will say. Yes, Blackheart, he will not be the main villain in the 2007 Ghost Rider movie. However, Mark Bentley, he is still in the movie. However, he will be Aqueduct, who is an obscure member of Ghost Rider of Johnny Blaze's Rogues Gallery. Whereas for him, he can control and manipulate water, but he'll serve as the antagonist. But he leads into Mephisto because he leads into Mephisto as there will be towards the end of the movie Johnny will be able to reconcile with Crash because Mephisto he'll be using him in order to get Johnny's soul.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. Go ahead, Matthew.
Okay, so for my Fantastic Four, I have not gone the route of rewriting the film, but rather keeping the main plot of the film the same, but like modifying and adding stuff or altering details. Like with Doctor Doom, I'm changing him to be more comic accurate. I don't mind him being a businessman. I feel like Doctor Doom could do that if he wanted to. So I'm putting in like an early part where Doctor Doom is like a businessman for a while until like then later he goes to Latveria and becomes ruler there and everything.
All right, we're gonna get Latveria.
Yeah.
But what's
And
the
I'm
plot?
still having Doctor Doom be the overarching villain, like in the actual film.
But what's the plot
But
though?
wait, say that again.
What's the plot?
Okay, the plot is basically the exact same as the actual movie itself.
Okay.
Yeah, except what I've done is I've pushed the movie back a couple of years and I've put in the year 2000 instead of 2005. Because like the whole idea I was going for was having the Fantastic Four be the first movie in this like connected universe. Even though Blade takes place before that, I'm having like movies like Blade and some others take place in the past but come out after it. So Fantastic Four is like the first one, but not necessarily chronologically the first one. Yeah, and so basically what now I think about it, I've not really I've not really changed. Well, now I think about it, I haven't changed the second Fantastic Four too much. The first one I probably changed a little bit more. So I really should have wrote this down now I think about it.
Take your time, man.
Yeah, so the film, I've pushed it back to the year 2000 so that it's like, so it's both the start of this like cinematic universe, but also like the start of like the millennium, you know, that sort of thing, like the start of the new century and everything.
Yeah.
And I've framed the Fantastic Four in kind of a Star Trek kind of vibe, because you know they kind of
nice.
they're more like a scientist type heroes.
I like that too, because
they're
the
more along the
Fantastic
lines of actually exploring like unusual situations. I feel like the film was trying to go for that with them like exploring how their powers work, but it kind of was like 50-50 on how whether or not that even worked. But I've decided to push a little bit more into that and have them actually like explore their powers, try and like have them actually go back up into space and try and like
Well, that was the thing about Fantastic Four comic books that, you know, most adaptations never got. It's the reason why they're called the Fantastic Four is because they went on fantastic adventures.
Yeah. I am also having Johnny and Ben, I'm having those two occasionally go out and fight crime, or at least stop crime, the occasional crime here and there. You know, to actually establish them as heroes, rather than them just sort of solving problems that they themselves cause. And
in other words,
so you're having Johnny
and Ben.
Yeah, because I feel like Johnny and Ben are the ones that are more likely to actually go out and fight crime. Because obviously Johnny's like young, impulsive, and hot-headed.
Okay.
And Ben's like, I suppose, an older brother type, where he's like trying to rein Johnny in, but he's also like a little bit more understanding to like why he would want to like go out and like do something.
They bond
or make a difference. So he
Well,
kind of
so
cooperates with him, but like, I suppose unwilling, or not unwilling, reluctantly goes along with what Johnny is doing. Yeah, and I've replaced the scene where
I like
Johnny
that. So I
goes
like
to that,
that.
like, yeah, the scene where Johnny goes to that like that, you know, that place where he's like riding a bike around, and he like does a stunt where he like uses his powers and then he crashes into the ground. Yeah, I've replaced that scene with instead him with like Ben just trailing behind him, like them interacting with some sort of crime that's going on, and that's the big public moment for them. And it's like that's the moment where Johnny like takes advantage of the large crowd of people. Well, not takes advantage, but like takes advantage of the opportunity of the fact that there's a whole bunch of eyes and on him, and he's got a large audience.
Right.
Yeah, similar to what he does in the film, just not in a whatever that place was. I don't actually remember. Yeah, and
It's like a extreme sports contest, I think.
yeah,
event.
that extreme sports
Yeah,
contest.
yeah, that's what it was.
I don't
It's
remember what that
extreme
was
sports.
specifically called.
No, you said it
You
right.
know what?
It's extreme
You
sport.
know what? You know what? It could
Yeah,
also
the
be
extreme sport.
what could be really cool is what if that event is televised and we can have it in the background of maybe Blade and even Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a news
Actually, now I think about it, you're just giving me an
that
idea. That scene where
I-
Johnny is there. That I'll alter it where that event is still happening, but Johnny isn't the one that goes there, but rather that's just a thing that's happening in the background. And let's say I don't know, Johnny Blaze is like performing stunts there or something.
Well, that could be awesome. That could be cool.
Yeah. And we can either have this be because it's in the early 2000s. We can either have this be before he becomes Ghost Rider, or maybe sometime after. I'm not sure what the time. Are we placing Ghost Rider in the year it came out?
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing I just thought about.
Okay,
At the
then yeah. So we
beginning
can
of the
have
Ghost Rider
we can have Johnny
movie,
Blaze
Johnny
just be a
Blaze-
normal human at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because he does extreme sports himself with his bike.
yeah.
But that's something
I'm
he's
also
social-
going
maybe
to
there's a
lean.
connection to that. Yeah.
Oh, Johnny, he is a Daredevil stuntman.
Okay, can I continue now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm also
Yes, we're
leaning
sorry.
into the whole
Go ahead.
celebrity superhero angle for the Fantastic Four, because I know that's an aspect of their characters as well as them as like celebrities as well. And that's also why I've placed it in the year 2000 rather than 2005. So there's a larger gap of time between the first film and the second film. So you have more time to actually have them be around and like develop as like celebrity superheroes. Yeah, and,
I like that.
Yeah, and of course I have the like specific Fantastic Four members appearing in other early 2000s Marvel films, like Johnny Storm appearing in like say Spider-Man 2 to interact with Spider-Man, because that's something they tend to do every now and then.
Because I mean,
And
the
you have,
Fantastic
like-
Four is the one team that Peter himself is very close to.
Yeah, and I've also have the first Spider-Man movie, a scene where he goes to the Fantastic Four and tries to join them
didn't
shortly
say much
after he
about-
gets his powers, but
Didn't
then
say
he
much about Reed and Sue.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of conflicted on whether or not I like the actor who plays Mr. Fantastic. I'm not sure about
Ian?
Jessica Alba as Sue Storm. I'm kind of two minds about that. Although I'm honestly not sure who I would pick as like an
Well, you're not the only
alternative
one.
actor to play Sue.
I mean, we did talk about that in the last stream.
Yeah. It's been a while. Most of that information has more than likely left my brain.
Yeah, because I mean, I know I said Nicole Kidman. I forgot what Wolf said.
Trisha Helfer.
Right.
Somebody said
Okay.
Sarah Michelle
I
Gellar.
probably said this before, but I don't know who that is.
I said Sarah Michelle Gellar too.
Yeah.
Trisha Helfer was Caprica 6
Right.
from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I've done with Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. So for Mr. Fantastic, obviously the element of him like promising to reverse Ben's transformation, obviously that's still gonna be there, but that's not gonna be like, I think in the film itself, it's his character is primarily like focused on that, and then like say one or two other things going on.
Yeah.
But what I've altered, I've kept him trying to cure Ben, but I've also added some like scenes where he like, because Mr. Fantastic in the comics he's like cold and has difficulties actually like relating to people, but he does genuinely care about people.
Yeah, like he cares about people. He's just like spends so much time with his work. He has a pretty hard time just interacting with people.
Yeah. So I've added that. I've added that feature where he like finds it difficult to actually like relate to people or interact with people properly because of the whole focus on his scientific work and everything.
Yeah, you think you might add
He's-
Yeah,
his son Franklin sometime, like in the sequel, like
I was considering
getting ahead of ourselves,
adding Franklin, but I'm
Huh?
not sure about that.
Getting ahead of ourselves. We gotta keep moving. Gotta keep pushing.
Yeah, I don't know if you want me to talk about both Fantastic Four movies now, or just the first one and then do
I was
the
just,
second
I
one
mean, it's
later.
We're
just a
past
food for thought.
Yeah.
Oh crap!
No,
That
we're not.
is
We're not
my
gonna
alarm.
keep
That is my alarm to wake me up in the morning. Yeah. So
Oh,
obviously, the more emotional side of Mr. Fantastic is brought out by his interactions with Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And don't worry, Leia. Chris Evans is still in the movie, so he is still going to be shirtless
God.
at least once or twice, and he is still going to have the whole like steam come off and everything, like in the actual film. Well, actually that's the second film, yeah, but still.
And there you go.
Yeah. Oh, there. I told you, I can take it. I can take it.
You had to go there. Now you
June,
just had to
thank
do that.
You're a good
As you
man.
said that you were
You're
going to
smart
keep
and
in
intelligent.
Chris
You just
Evans
had
as
well,
the Human
now you had
Torch.
to distract me.
Hey, you got to keep in something for the ladies.
I know. I mean, you're still keeping
right.
Jessica
And I feel like
Alba
Johnny
too.
Storm is the kind of character who would do that sort of thing.
I mean, well, yeah, he's a ladies'
Well,
man, yeah.
Well, much like Bobby Drake, Iceman of the X-Men. Like those two, what those two have in common is they are ladies' man. Well, ladies'
Yeah,
men.
they like women, yeah.
In this case. Yeah.
Despite
I'm doing
what
this for-
anyone says, they do. They like so.
It's-
That's good for us.
Well, we're
Since I'm
going
doing
to
this for Leia,
ignore.
I'm doing this for Humble too.
Well, we're going to ignore the retcon Bendis did in his own new X-Men run with Bobby.
Right. And don't get me started with Cyclops
Right.
and Grey
Yes,
with them.
we're
That's a
ignoring
whole
that.
other
We
kind
know
of
that's a
worm
lie.
We'll
story.
we can save that for a
I
future
know.
discussion.
I know.
Humble is next.
Okay. Let's see. There
I didn't give
is
you a character.
Oh, yeah,
Bill,
we're
the
getting
NFL Super
what?
Pro, Hellcat.
You're good. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna do.
Wait,
your
isn't
intro.
NFL Super Pro from the New Universe imprint?
I think it came out from like 1991 to
Oh, you're
1992.
gonna do that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Humble. Lay it on us.
Okay, basically, the one thing I'd go for is just take an unpopular character and work with them a little. The reason why I looked up NFL Super Pro is because he's basically football Batman. He doesn't have any gadget. He basically has this special suit and the enhanced physical abilities. And he was a retired football player.
So a football-themed superhero. Great.
I'm loving it.
I like it. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes him pretty fun is he is basically solving mysteries.
Oh my
Just-
god. He is football Batman.
Yes, he is solving mysteries and doing your regular superhero stuff. I mean, all these Marvel Knights, they are all fantastically powered people. And then you have Phil.
I thought you were gonna go with like a pretty obscure Marvel character hardly anyone else knows about, like Nighthawk and Hellcat or Cloak and Dagger, somewhere around those lines. But you chose a football-themed superhero.
I mean, look, hey, you got to give
Jeez.
Humble credit because I've actually heard about this particular Marvel superhero like years ago. Yet you don't hear that many people talk about him because he is that obscure.
Well, yeah.
Precisely.
I mean, well, yeah, a hero who literally has National Football League in his name. and people are just gonna think, oh, it's just a publicity stunt, just to get the advertisements. And please tell me he has a robot that's based on the NFL robot.
However, with Humble's pitch, so she'll be able to prove the naysayers wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Should
But yeah,
be our
please
first
tell me
Guardians
that he has a robot that's
for
based on the NFL robot. Because I would definitely love to see that.
He probably could, considering he is basically a maxed out football player potential going up against vampires that are probably a lot stronger than him, considering Marvel's version of them is.
What if he's fighting vampires trying to fix the game?
Like,
Game is
the vampires have infiltrated the football game. Who will save us now?
Well, his first issue, he was actually trying to take down some mafioso that had framed a friend of his. And of course, since this is superhero and not detective, the big villain reveal in the mystery story had ended in a physical showdown instead of a mental one.
Oh,
and
awesome.
one of the things that is very good with mystery stories is the villain can either do their monologue or the detective, in this case Phil, could try and piece the pieces together out of the story. Like, how would a vampire have probably tried to... Like, how would a vampire sabotage a game that's during the day, yet they have to stay underground at night?
They found themselves hidden. Like, it just like maybe it would have just been like a... Like
They
it's
have
just gone
henchmen
at
that
night
works
and
for
they
them
found
during the day.
and they just found a way in to try to get everyone else in there.
What if this is how the
Like,
vampires are? What if this is how the vampires are financing their activities?
Yeah.
They're fixing sports games.
Yeah, like try to go like I was thinking like the Dark Knight Rises, where they just found a way to like infiltrate the stadium, and yet they just try to do that as like their calling.
Yeah, there could be a
There
small
are some
small
games that are at night.
Yeah.
Any more to say, guys? Any questions? 'Cause we're
Funny
big
thing,
on time.
when I said that he would have like a robot that looks like an NFL robot, I found this in the private chat, where it's the logo itself is it is from another football team. I forgot which one though. It's the SF in the title.
San Francisco.
Uh-oh.
Maybe. But when I looked at it, it's like, okay, at first glance, like, well, this is fitting that we're now talking about Marvel, because it totally looks like Iron Man. Look at the private chat. Tell me that does not look like it's just Iron Man. It's just a colorization of him with Iron Man colors.
It's Iron Man if he's got a football helmet built in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and white shoes.
Oh, yeah, he actually does have white shoes, yeah. Because I thought they were so red. I didn't even see that it has white shoes. Leia, you had a question?
I have a question. Oh no! Well, it was for the gladiator. It was Kaon. Flynn, how do your version of the Fantastic Four connect to our characters or our stories? I didn't quite catch that. How would you find a way? So they're their own thing. So they have no connection to Daredevil, Blade, Ghost Rider, or anything.
No, the Marvel Knights will be their own thing.
Sorry.
I guess.
Okay.
Okay, that's their own thing, their own story. Okay. All right. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But if they want to, they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can fit the Fantastic Four. You don't have to necessarily fit all four members.
You can always say that You can always say that the halftime show is going to be performed by Johnny Blaze and oh gosh darn it, Johnny Storm.
Or you could
and,
say Ben Grimm is in the audience watching, because I feel like
or Ben Grimm. Yeah,
I feel like he would go to a football game.
yeah.
He's also Phil has also been a retired football player due to a sports injury in the past, and then went through like an accident that gave him his super endurance and his super athletic ability. So he could have also passed him by on patrols.
Please tell me that the final battle takes place at the Super Bowl.
Hey, if it will take place at the Super Bowl, it will take place at the Super Bowl.
I was thinking that's
Not
where the
an
attack would
energy beam in
happen.
the sky.
I was thinking that's where the attack would happen there.
Yeah, that would probably end up being the halftime
Hey,
show.
Would be a
The villain's motivation was they got a bad bet and they lost.
They have a. That's what it is. They have a bad bet, and the final battle takes place at the Super Bowl during the halftime show. Everybody's lives are in danger, and he's yelling for everybody, "Quick, you have to get out! There are vampires in the stadium." But everybody thinks it's all part of the halftime show.
Oh gosh, that would be perfect.
right.
All right. Well, look, Humble, I'm gonna ask you this: like, what genre or genres will your adaptation of NFL Super Pro will be? What other genre is gonna be?
Let's see, probably some mystery, action, and adventure.
All right.
I like that.
Considering you're going to different places, getting into all kinds of discombobulations, so that just to fit.
But I like the fact too that there is some humor in this, but there's not mean-spirited humor. It's taking it's not taking itself too seriously, but it's also not bordering on parodying itself. If
Right.
that
It
makes
reminds
sense.
me of the
In other words-
90s, superheroes like Project
Yeah.
Mantis.
Yeah.
So it's an homage. It's an homage to those superhero movies like in the 90s. However, even though it has some comedic moments to bring levity out of us after a serious and dramatic situation, it is not. A comedy is not the genre that is as a part of, because as you mentioned, Jen, like its main primary genres are mystery, action, and adventure.
Let's get ready to move on.
But just one last thing. I think what I love about this too, more than anything, is like we said, it's not mean-spirited comedy, but it's also maybe a little bit lighthearted, because due to the darkness that Blade and even Punisher are going to be bringing in, and even Daredevil on some level, it's good to get a little bit of levity to this Marvel Knight universe.
That is true.
Oh, and what's also hilarious too is like
Yeah, I
when
would
he
agree.
finds out that
Yeah.
when he finds out that this is funding, this is how the Vampire Nation is getting their funding. He's like going, why are they? Or maybe he doesn't even realize
Why,
this. He's
though?
like, why are vampires betting on these games and fixing these games? And then somebody could say, well, I guess vampires need money too.
I still find it odd as saying like why would vampire attack would be part of the halftime show, but considering a lot of the shit happens in the Marvel universe anyway. Like even galactic level threats, supernatural threats, terrorist attacks.
Motherfuckers
I could
always
even
trying
see
to
this
escape
being-
from the heel.
This apparently they just treat it like, it's just another Tuesday. Oh wait, shit, I'm being attacked.
I could almost see this being like one of those. I could almost see this movie being directed almost like a Shane Black movie, like Lethal Weapon or The Last Boy Scout, or The Nice, stuff like that. That's how this movie's being filmed.
Well, speaking of Shane Black, he would actually be perfect for a NFL Super Pro movie.
Mm-hmm.
Who will be your lead actor, Humble, for that character?
It would definitely have to be a brunette that looked the part,
Maybe
because I know that hiring by merit is a big deal, and also having someone that looks like the character is also a big deal. And I know there's this modern trend of trying to make, I don't know why they want to try to make every white dude a black guy, but that would actually kind of defeat the purpose, because one of his rivals in the comics is actually a black ninja. And and his partner happens to be a black journalist who drives some type of van.
Oh my god, if it's the Mystery Machine, greenlight this movie.
I got one.
What is it?
Brendan Fraser will play it.
That would be pretty good.
That would be awesome. I even think Brendan Fraser could even play right now.
I mean, it was also,
If
it'll also
nothing
be
else,
during a time where Brendan Fraser, like, he was able to still do his own stunts.
Yeah.
mhm,
Right.
either him or who was the it guy for those type of action comedies?
Mm.
Who was also the it guy?
When you said
Like
football
Brendan
player,
Fraser.
at first I was thinking Dwayne Johnson, but now the way you describe the
Oh,
character, you may not be fit for that.
Dwayne Johnson, he was a wrestler, not a football player.
he was a football player.
Yeah, but have you ever seen him in Gridiron Gang?
Oh, I thought it. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. I
you're
thought he
right.
played football. He was almost drafted in the NFL. Yeah,
Yeah, he
Mhm.
was.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
He was in quite a few football films, right?
Yeah, Gridiron Gang, and in fact, Walking Tall, they made a reference that he was he used to play football.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're right. But anyway, so besides Brendan Fraser, like who will be your second candidate?
Tom Cruise.
No,
I was about to think that too, and I was like, nah, the dude's already doing his own
Well,
stuff with the Mission
here's the-
Impossible films.
No, this would be
Yeah.
the hilarious. Well, this would be the hilarious bit. Tom Cruise cameos in the movie because they're talking about, how he's an ex-football player and how he's like a good-looking person, and they see Tom Cruise and they're like, "Oh, please, this is the guy." And then Tom Cruise walks to the side, and there's our guy.
That would fit.
What? It's just gonna be like
Yeah.
Darkman, where it's just like they had Liam Neeson for the role, but they first got Bruce
Arnold
Campbell for the
Wilson.
role at the end of the film because
Oh,
that's
yeah,
where the
yeah.
first scene they shot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why he was there.
Me too. I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was originally about to be Darkman,
I
but
so
then they
forgot
didn't.
about
He
that.
didn't
That's
feel like they would look the part, so then they got Liam Neeson for the role.
And I love the fact that the first scene that they shot was Bruce Campbell, and even still at the very end, I think he and Sam Raimi parted on good terms. He says, "Sam, I don't think I'm right for the part," and Sam's like, "I don't think so either."
Oh
Right.
wait, actually, how about this for your second
Yeah.
candidate besides Brendan Fraser for film? Sean William Scott.
Oh, that could work.
No.
You know what? Why don't we just go whole? Here's an idea. What if we just go whole ham and we just hire Peter from Deadpool 2? The normal guy from Deadpool 2. That's Phil.
Oh, that would.
Okay, we're just naming,
Oh,
we're just naming so many brunette actors that are just gonna be fit for the role, and yet I'm not gonna be so. I can't tell them much longer. I gotta tell them what I gotta do. Sorry, I just can't. I gotta
Okay.
tell them. Sorry.
what the hell are you
I don't
spazzing
know.
about?
What? I just want to tell them.
He's itchy. Wolf,
We
he's
already got
itchy.
it
Let him scratch the itch, Wolf.
Sounds like he's Ren from Ren and Stimpy.
Go ahead. Yeah. He's ready. He's dying.
Stimpy, you idiot.
He's dying to get his eye.
Are you ready?
Okay.
He's dying to get.
All right. Yes, I'm ready. Okay.
Take
So
some
now,
deep breaths.
all right.
The floor is
So-
yours, final.
All right. This one, though it's not actually a movie per se, or actually a series of films, but rather part of a bigger series, a fanfiction series, the Marvel Anthology series. And the reason why I saved this one for last is because this one is a big project that I would ever be doing in writing, because originally this was supposed to be my plan for the DC anthology, where I already have all this planned, where it's going to be separated into 3 parts with Secret Origins to Legion of Doom to Apocalypse. This one, I plan to do this one with Will to return the favor for this. Yeah, I did this just to return the favor because I already did DC, so now why not do it to Marvel? And I plan to do this with all 3 by first trying to do the Avengers, but then part 2 due to the not Legion of Doom, the Masters of Evil, and then the Infinity series to go more galactic levels. But then I thought, wait, I do want to do other Marvel characters in this one too, because this is the problem that I ran into when I would want to do the Marvel series, when I want to do like any of the bigger pillars of the Marvel universe. Marvel has already got such a huge cast of characters, I wouldn't even know who or what to even try to do. Like, well, yes, the bigger pillars, but also like the most even more galactic level characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy, the original Captain Marvel.
So what are your stories, though?
What are my stories? My first story that I have planned, first 2, which will be the Avengers are already introduced already. The Avengers are already formed thanks to Nick Fury. But then it's actually going to be in Captain America's perspective in the first time, where he's already found, because the Avengers have already found him, because they were originally about to find the Hulk, but then suddenly Tony and the Avengers found someone else, and that's when they found Captain America. And then he gives Fury the visual saying, "Oh God, I know this guy. Get him out!" And we need to see him, because Nick Fury and Cap actually know each other, because these 2 are World War II veterans. And it will be classic Nick Fury, because like the DC anthology, and this one is going to be an homage to classic Marvel. So, of course, none of the newer characters, since like Miles Morales or Kamala Khan.
Second story.
Yeah. And the second story is actually in the perspective of Hydra, which now Hydra is coming back. And this time it's not led by the Red Skull, because Red Skull is as good as dead because he died in World War II. But now it's led by its new leader, where in this one it is led by Baron von Strucker. But how does this tie into the Marvel Knights? Well, I already got many, or at least with what we've talked about so far, well, I already got a lot of ideas planned. Like Spider-Man, Peter's already Spider-Man already. Like, he's already rounded up most characters who will be the second threat for Spider-Man. The first threat is going to be the Green Goblin. And yes, Gwen Stacy will die. But then his second threat, what will make life even worse, facing the Sinister Six. And then I'm not sure what the third one might be. Maybe Venom, maybe.
I would say Venom for later, for when we do a proper adaptation of the first Secret War.
Maybe.
Is that what we're gonna build up to?
At least for like Spider-Man, because I'm trying to get like many characters like each of their own arcs, like X-Men. Like I already explained Spider-Man, but another example, X-Men, like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, then the Hellfire Club, and then the Dark Phoenix saga, then Dark Phoenix. I won't do Days of Future Past, because I want to give the mutants a more hopeful outlook, like a more happier ending, like when this all ends, you know. Peter, I'll try to give him like him also a happier ending when he gets married to Mary Jane Watson, and then but other stories like him having tagging alongside the Fantastic Four, like first meeting the Fantastic Four, or many of a lot of the stories that I'm going to be basing on with this material is a lot of bigger stories of the Marvel Universe, other stories of the Marvel Universe, like Blade's story, which is going to be a reference to his first appearance, where it's going to be in the perspective of somebody else, but then suddenly they're being attacked by monsters. But Blade suddenly has an appearance because that's how it happened in his first appearance story, or Spider-Man's many adventures when along with when he's attacking along with Daredevil, because Spider-Man's going to be attacking along with almost everyone in the Marvel universe, besides the Fantastic Four and Daredevil. He will attack along with the Avengers as well. Likewise with the Avengers themselves. But yeah, that is probably going to be the most ambitious anthology that I'm ever going to be doing, because the DC anthology, I already have a lot of this planned, because but Marvel, they already have such a huge cast of characters. It'll be tough. It's an uphill climb, let's just say the least.
Yes.
But yeah, but I do like to hear your guys' thoughts and any questions and concerns about this.
Which Guardians of the Galaxy are you including?
Early 2000s Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, so
Well-
the more modern version.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning's Guardians of the Galaxy from 2006 instead of the original Guardians.
Well,
I was
yeah,
gonna say,
there
I
will
was
be
gonna
a
say, if
reference
you
to
included
them.
the original, then you could have done the Korvac saga.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was about to plan to introduce, reference them too.
I mean, they're
Like, you
from
know-
the future, so you could probably still work them in somehow.
Maybe. Because again, trying to do this Marvel anthology is an uphill climb because of the amount of characters and teams that Marvel has.
I don't think necessarily make it into an anthology either.
But I know I will do like when I get to the galactic level stuff with the Marvel universe, like one part that I will do first is the Eternals and the Inhumans. Just to give them the story of the entire Marvel universe,
to
'cause they were
actually
there.
give them, to actually give them a real film and not like the
And a
crappy
proper-
TV show and the
Well, it will be
abysmal
an
movie.
anthology.
It an even crappier movie because again,
Yeah.
Hey, if you bring in Eternals, you can connect it to a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah, because the Eternals are they're the Silmarillion of the Marvel universe, and the Inhumans are connected along with them too because they've been there since the beginning.
I suppose the Inhumans are kind of the Fantastic Fours, like micro
Yeah.
Silmarillion, I guess.
Yeah, and they were previously isolation as much like Wakanda back in the day.
Right.
And you could potentially bring in maybe the Illuminati or a version of them.
Let's
Well,
not
I mean,
get too ahead of ourselves.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, because
The Illuminati,
that's
I'm
in the-
not
that's in the
really
future.
sure. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not sure
that's
if I
in the
do want to add the
future.
Illuminati. Like maybe it might be like the Four Kings that exist in the Marvel universe, maybe, but I don't know.
Four Kings. The Four Kings, I can see you use to your advantage, unlike the Illuminati.
Yeah. But Leia, do you have any questions or any thoughts, questions, concerns about the Marvel anthology?
It's gonna be on one movie or just separate.
This what you're doing. This is just a separate. Yeah.
Or you could just, or alternatively, alternatively, finally, you could title this anthology of movies as Marvel Comics Presents.
Maybe. Because I mean,
Or-
again,
or
it is a
in this
fan
case,
fiction
Marvel-
series.
Well, in this
'Cause,
case, Marvel
yeah.
Marvel Presents, because it is based on Marvel Comics Presents, which is also an anthology series because that each story or like a number of issues, like it focuses on a different character of the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Because I mean, again, this is a fan fiction series, and it's an anthology fan fiction series. So I'm not sure how this might be adapted into films. Maybe as an audio novel like when it eventually gets like adapted to like audio dramas, you know. But I would have like ideas of different voice actors for many of the other Marvel characters, like most of the Ultimate Alliance cast. Yeah, the Ultimate Alliance cast being in here for this audio for this anthology.
Almost like a radio play?
Like a radio drama. Well, yeah, radio play or just a radio drama, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same
Sounds
time,
like
it
yours,
is-
like you
it is
said, it'll
connected
be a
to the other
standalone
previous Marvel Knights
anthology. There's no
process.
connection to.
Yeah, it has no connection to the films because it is a standalone anthology with many interconnected stories all around. Because this is an anthology, and it is an homage to classic Marvel, and their costumes will be their classic outfits
Mhm.
because again, this is classic Marvel. This is the series that the Marvel that a lot of people have grown up with. Because this is the same treatment I'm giving to the DC anthology.
Yeah, guys, ready to wrap it up? now?
Well, I do like it. I like it as an
Yeah.
anthology. hmm
Sounds
Everybody
awesome.
did great, better
Yeah.
than I thought. You
Yeah.
guys come with some great stuff. Yes,
Great
all of you
ideas,
did.
actually.
Good.
Was
Great.
wonderful
And
ideas.
we got Scooby to pop in. Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Exhausted, but here.
Yep. But yeah, DC I do want to do first before I do want to do the
Oh,
Marvel
well,
anthology.
we thank you, but we're gonna get ready to wrap it up so you can rest.
Right. So yeah, Marvel anthology. It's an uphill climb, but I will do DC Comics first before I do that.
Right.
So yeah,
So, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Those 3 or 4 of you, and then those nice little motherfuckers that keep popping in. Thank you once again, Humble, for joining us tonight on such short notice.
Thank you for having me.
We totally kidnapped her, guys.
these guys could be a bunch of bandits.
Thank you, Matthew Flynn, for being patient with us. The Glad K.O. Matthew Flynn.
Yeah. Well, this is goodbye from the Night of Darkness, the Gladiator Count. We're going to let the Matrix light your darkest hour. Goodbye.
Thank you, Schooner, for sacrificing more of your time to join us.
Hey, it's okay. Coming at you live from a secret government facility buried deep underground but has excellent Wi-Fi. This is Schooner Tuna. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you like what we covered so far, drop a comment down below for anything else you'd like us to discuss. Until that time, this is Schooner Tuna signing off. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Bloop, 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 motherfuckers. The Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Well, that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your family and friends. And make sure you ring that notification bell. That way you get notified of our latest videos. Go subscribe to 1210 Media if you haven't already. Go subscribe to Matthew Flynn if you haven't already. Go subscribe to me if you haven't already. And be sure you stay tuned. On June 16th on my channel for episode 7 of Comic Studies will be my final DC comic study for a while, which will be Superman for All Seasons, because after that will be The Marvels by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. So after that I'm finally doing some Marvel Comics comic studies. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off, and remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
The How of the South, Dominic Powell.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in tonight's live stream as we go over our rewrites for the early Marvel movies, which compose them of the Marvel Knights. If you have any other topics that you'd like us to discuss in the future, make sure you put it down in the comment section down below, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Wolf 10 Media's channel. This is the Hound South, Dominic Powell signing off, and remember to keep hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world to show everyone that there is still light in the world. They should never give in to darkness.
The lovely Leia Bauer, Leia plus size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and I want to thank everyone who joined us for the stream. If you have any ideas of any topics or any other ideas you would like for us to discuss or stories that you would like to give our own spin on, please leave them in the comments below. I am sure Wolf will very much appreciate it. Until then, you will have a good evening. And Scooney, it was so good to hear your voice again.
It's good to see you all again too.
Spinning Will Commander Wolf Tail. Remind you guys once again, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Full Fleet.
This video is going to let you hear the sound of the Tokay lizard, also known as the fuck you lizard, which I met up with in Thailand.